Jones will get straight up covered.
Clark gets hit in the face. Caitlin Clark. Fact that it certainly could have.
That blitz comes to Caitlin Clark.
Egan assists, average more than 19.
Injury, she is shaking it off. She got a.
You can't give up a single possession.
If only you could control whether or not your eye.
Quick first step, the leaner. Clark turning the corner, the push shot. Boston, deep seal, and Thomas spinning and gets the knock. Squeezed inside to Carrington. Time, Aaliyah Boston will pick up. Stephanie White in her second year. Here is Bonner. Oh! Boston, deep catch, sings it cross court to hole. No, it's on the foot of Lexi Hull. Right ankle.
Season 3-point
career in South Carolina. The three will take 3 free throws. Significance as you see Hull's 3-point for Marina Mabry. 10-9 game, first quarter. Floats it to Boston. Boston
throughout the course of this season. Here it's Kelsey Mitchell who gets blitzed.
For roll. Boston fakes the Carrington, finds Bonner. Mitchell sidestepping 3. Marina Mabry
just goes by. I'm not following you.
Team in the WNBA. Phoenix, game 1, 5 people
who can post up inside. And you saw
a 3. Christie sides can press.
A couple of possessions ago when floor.
Hull gets fouled by
Came bothered very long to the point where here we're seeing a player.
Clark wraps it to Boston. Clark to the rim. Reverse.
Go.
And Caitlin Clark told us before in the paint. You look at her numbers amongst guards. Off Clark's 3. Oh. Jones inside. Can't dump it down, and it's knocked out of bounds. Going to Olivia Nelson. Looking at the replay, it looks like Hull had P. And Mabe ended. Carrington. Up 5 on the glass in general. Mitchell. Burton. Whoa. Here is Clark around Burton.
This first quarter.
Well, and I wanted to ask, able to play a game of
continue to make the same hard cut.
Tight.
Much all. Mabry leaning in. Mitchell, and Mitchell steps that up far in this first quarter. Aaliyah Boston. Nelson Adoda back to Wheeler, who did not pass. Duntis. Cut line. 39% on the season.
By being undisciplined.
Playoff appearance since 2016. Duntis shedding Thomas. Benlay spent some time out there in the act of shooting. You need her on the floor. You can't take that. And off to Thomas. Push shot. 10 points for Thomas. 5 to the rim. Back in. Mitchell a 3. Won't. Tied. Here's Thomas. Not that. Tip off there, game 1. And a clock violation. You hope you don't have too full a stomach. Shimmies into the paint and lays it in.
On the defense as well.
3. Mabry turns. On Alyssa Thomas.
Retreat, and then she just.
Deanna, her first playoff game, have been the best backcourt in the league. Jones throws it out of bounds.
Turnover.
5th turnover for the Sun. Boston will fire. Jones meets 2, finds top around the Boston screen. Her first 2 meetings this season between the feet, gets fouled by Duntis.
In the league who has played in the WNBA, and she said, you know, this is the first time throughout the course of the regular season, and so
the scores table's having a little whatever it is. There has a competitive tight game. Duntis gets foot. Hand in her face, unable situation.
Yes. All right, so it isn't a quick take those packs off and just do it manually.
Hand in her face, no. Mitchell's 3, offensive glass. Something Caitlin to gain separation. Joe on the court dime, and in the
finish.
Carrington will fire. Can't. 7 from the floor.
But the first half it had 14 points.
Here's Mitchell. Dot looking to find space. Was tripped. Ticket. 3-second violation called.
This matchup is 70% more. They might come for Caitlin, but they
free to catch, the stop, and the finish. Hopping through traffic. Mitchell's
transition, scoring easy buckets.
5. With that being the case, you probably say something happened. Duntis.
Connecticut
1 in the league in defensive rating. And Janae burrows in and gets the. Clark has to get it in bounds.
And those are the turnovers at the Indiana.
Clark, Oku from Stephanie White. Bonner, where maybe experience.
These moments many times.
Things become big things. Some ops. Bonner will shoot 3 free throws before in her career.
She's acting like she's been here before.
Misfires, and that
She's affecting her shots.
You talked about
It can be better. We've got to be up a little bit.
Lexi Hull picked up that third foul. Hull back in there, fire three-point percentage post-Olympic. Don't get good clean looks. Tonight, after Ty Harris left with an ankle in.
King at Caitlin Clark, waiting.
It over. Mabry as Indiana turns it over.
And overlooked. We're not playing in a playoff game about 20 hours after.
Corner Mitchell a three. She's storming in. And Honor zigging, zagging. Miss Clark needs one.
Caitlin Clark has played very.
Connecticut defense. Mabry to Boston. Mitchell off the handle, loose on the floor.
The previous three for me.
Mitchell draws two as Thomas fouls Boston.
Feeling good from the one before.
First three and cut it to 6. Thomas nearly threw it away. Henley wasn't ready for it, but ends up getting a assigned foul. Mabry has been a little loose at times in this. Thomas shovels Carrington. Alyssa Top. Mabry. Boston set from Bonner. Can't finish. Mabry separating, taking deep. Jones, Bunny, no.
Doing everything she can to get.
Mabry with 11. He'll stay here with the Fever. Mitchell's jumper to the line.
Up here.
A foul. And at least win one championship. And that was something Christy Sides talked to her team line after a missed free throw. Arrington zooming in, lays it. A deep bomb off the gut check time for the Fever. Connecticut. Thomas. Fouled by Mitchell.
I'll just throw it off the defensive player.
Demanding. Clark rummaging inside.
Pump fake, gets Jones leaning.
Down 7 of 11 from the floor. Get a 10-point game. Basketball as Mabry surging inside. Marina Mabry. They started to form. Clark on a 3. All from 3 together.
And certainly it wanted them to take versus ones they wanted.
Handling the minutes. Ty Harris.
Things you don't want to do.
Shot put off the mark. Leg, no. Best of 3 first-round series. Hull's push shot gets pulled up. Jumper today. Bonner. There's Mitchell hopping to the hoop.
Fever, but Kelsey Mitchell's been able to.
Who has been able to connect from 2, but to the corner, Mabry. Again. Bounces. Boston sheds.
Do they have 3-point shooting?
Or Thomas the rebound. Wanted her to take another. Mabry. Connecticut, Mitchell, no. Mabry back on career as Tom can't handle it. And a foul called on Boston.
Just in this game, she cutting off
The paint bounces to Boston.
And good job by Aaliyah Boston to kick
the other. Carrington misses that lay in the corner. In and out. Shot the 3 at 63%.
The difference maker offensively. Connecticut
Soft to Burton, her 3.
scoring a lot of points. It wasn't because they make them.
Let's set things over to Hop.
Dame won a title there, but barely.
A season ago in the tightest race and about Marina Mabry. Home. Turnovers from Indiana here on ESPN, and then at 10 Eastern, 2 for 13 from 3. Carrington, why not? Looking ahead to game.
Some of that is going to come down to just getting to the. Again, you'd be more.
Double 27, and just a complete performance for authoritative game. And Connecticut takes a 1. Boston and Jones to jump it up.
Offensive assignment on Caitlin Clark. These teams played 4 times in the regular season.
Hitting the jumper. Here's Bonner in the corner, pushing pace for the Sun. Here's Carrington hopping inside like Boston. And an unfavorable whistle there.
That call right. Aaliyah Boston, she's begging for the challenge. This is your challenge, just so that they get the call on the right player. The foul to the wrong player.
Well, and Aaliyah Boston is nowhere near that play.
We did see on that play, Indiana had 4 players in trying to get on.
Into Jones working Boston, and the shot clock expires.
Connecticut will do the same thing on the other end with Brianna Jones. Will get straight up coverage.
Harassed by Carrington. Finds Boston. Clark gets hit in the face. Boston. And Caitlin Clark Is from Carrington, but also enough contact that it certainly could.
Game of the season here in this building, Ryan, is when that blitz comes to Caitlin Clark.
On the season, led the league in assists, averaged more than 19.
That's right. Just checking on Caitlin Clark's injury. She is shaking it off. She got
Dialed up about officiating, having to stay focused. You can't give up a single possession out of plays, and it would cost them.
If only you could control whether or not your eye.
Down 0 for 2 from deep. Here is Bonner, quick first step, the leaner to a good start here with 5. Here's Clark turning the corner, the push shot. Boston, deep seal, and off to Thomas. Thomas spinning and gets denied.
Alyssa Smith to get a hand on the ball.
Squeezed inside to Carrington. Back on the offensive glass from Connecticut, and this time Aaliyah Boston will pick up in second chance points. Stephanie White in her second year. Here is Bonner for lead. Boston. Deep catch. Smith collects the air ball. Sings it cross court to Hull. Like, is that Ty Harris who is down after the foul? No, it's the brunt of it as she landed on the foot of Lexi Hull. But it's Harris who ends up rolling that right ankle.
Harris has been so good for the Connecticut Sun this season. 3-point.
After an incredibly successful collegiate career in South Carolina. Who got fouled shooting the 3, will take 3 free throws. Harris, and one thing of significance as you see Hull's 3-point. Connecticut's front office traded for Marina Mabry. 10-9 game, first quarter. Mitchell floats it to Boston. Boston shot.
Aaliyah Boston gotten in the short roll throughout the course of this season. A lot with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, but here it's Kelsey Mitchell who gets blitzed.
Back to the basket big, to dominating in the short roll. Boston takes the pass. Carrington finds Bonner. Chewing off Bonner. Mitchell sidestepping 3. Who today was named the unanimous MVP. Marina Mabry gets
ball here. She's coming down. Ball just goes by. I'm not following you.
Throw attempts per game than any team in the WNBA. And tonight, Minnesota hosts Phoenix. Game 1, 5 p.m.
Mabry brings to the Sun team is a guard who can post up inside. And you saw
dishes to Hull, and a 3-1 spot in the rotation for Indiana where Christie Sides can press. Not always a role with Melissa Smith.
And a couple of possessions ago when she can bring that'll help her keep minutes on the floor.
Hull gets fouled by
First game of the season here when the blitz came, bothered. Very different things were being thrown at her all season long to the point where here we're seeing a player.
By Bree Jones. Now Clark comes up with a steal. Clark wraps it to Boston. Clark trying to get around Mabry. Clark to the rim. Reverse.
Basketball, the officials are letting a lot go.
And Caitlin Clark told us before, incredible finisher this year in the paint. You look at her numbers amongst guards. Here's Boston, the handoff. Clark's 3. Up first round series. Mitchell falls. Jones inside. Clark trying to dump it down, and it's knocked out of bounds. It, as of now, is not going to. Olivia Nelson and Hull was out of bounds. And looking at the replay, it looks like Hull had. So Sides gets hit with a T, and maybe she finished one shy of being suspended. Carrington, the opening quarter, but a very competitive one. Connecticut a +5 on the glass in general. Mitchell dishing. Mabry to the corner. Burton. Whoa.
Offensive glass so hard.
Here is Clark around Burton.
Choppy. That's a perfect description so far this first quarter.
Well, and I wanted to ask, Connecticut, you are not going to be able to play a game of
position for sure, but you have to still continue to make the same hard cut.
Have an update on Ty Harris?
Yes, Ty. Good that she will return to the game.
All right, thank you very much, Al. Mabry leaning in. Clark drops it to Mitchell, and Mitchell steps out of 4 thus far in this first quarter. Aaliyah Boston. Bentley went for the steal. Nelson Adoda. Clark was trying to indicate that to Wheeler, who did not. The speedy guard hooks back a pass. Duntis. Cut.
big has to get out and defend Duntis at the three-point line.
39% on the season.
Yeah, we've just got to make sure we're getting out of position by being undisciplined.
From a 1-8 start to its first playoff appearance since 2016.
Thomas with the way she's hitting him.
Here's Duntis shedding Thomas. Can't. She and Fac Bentley spent some time out there. It was, yeah, in the act of shooting. Just not a player you can accept that with. You need her on the floor. You can't take that
Experience from her time in Minnesota.
And Mabry. Off to Thomas. Push shot.
Out on her the way she's shooting the basketball today.
10 points for Thomas. 5. A feisty defender. Burton to the rim. Aaliyah Boston getting ready to check back in. Mitchell a 3. Tie when you think about the minute total for Clark. Here's Thomas. Not that very active on the O boards. Lynx and Mercury tip off their game 1. And a clock violation. You hope you don't have too full a stomach to screen. Mitchell shimmies into the paint and lays it in.
Quick and can get retreat and then get around the defense as well.
Here's Mabry. Mabry turning, flipping, and gets the foul call on Alyssa Thomas.
Tiffany Mitchell, there you go. Retreat, and then she just...
7th year with Indiana, her first playoff game. Minute for Indiana. They have been the best backcourt in the league. One of this best of 3 first-round series. Jones throws it out of bounds.
Come in, muck up the paint a little bit and force the turnover.
5th turnover for the Suns. A screen. Now behind Boston will fire. Jones meets 2, finds top. Here's Hull around the Boston screen. Hull did not play a minute the first 2 meetings this season between the feet. Honor the vicious crossover and gets fouled by Duntis.
About coming into the playoffs, there is no active player in the league who has played in the WNBA. It's fresh. They've got her out here guarding Caitlin Clark, and she said, you know, this is the first time ready. We've had more weapons throughout the course of the regular season, and so...
The sea was angry that day, my friend.
The scores table's having a little...
Raiders.
That's
maybe
true.
The equipment.
Whatever it is, there has, I mean, the lack of rhythm in this first half, but it's been a competitive, tight game. Duntis gets foot. There's Mabry. Hand in her face, unable. Holly, what do you got on the clock situation?
Yes. All right, so it isn't a quick, it shouldn't be triggered. So they're going to take those packs off and just do it manually.
From experience for you. Duntis with a hand in her face, no. Give Indiana a full shot clock. Mitchell's 3. How about Lexi Hull on the offensive glass? Something Caitlin high of the first half. Neither team has been able to gain separation. Joe Austin lays it in on the Clark dime. And in the
side so that she could catch, corral, and finish.
Carrington up. Clark thought about it. Will fire. Can't. Is 0 for 5 from 3, 1 of 7 from the floor.
But Vegas at their place where she was scoreless in the first half and had 14 points.
Down for Indiana with Hull on the bench with 3. Here's Mitchell. Dot. 7 to shoot. Mitchell looking to find space. Was building here in Connecticut. Whistle and a defensive 3-second violation called.
3 WNBA finals. This matchup is 70% more interest, and what I have found from everybody I've talked to, they might come for Caitlin, but they...
Starting to build some momentum. Mabry the catch, the stop, and the finish. Here's Mitchell hopping through traffic. Mitchell
in terms of pushing the ball down the floor, getting out in transition, scoring easy buckets.
If you're Indiana and you're only down 5, with that being the case, you probably say 4 to shoot, trying to make something happen. Duntis second. Connecticut, number 1 in the league in defensive ratings. And Drea, and Chene. Clark looking to get around Bonner. Clark burrows in and gets the bounce. Clark has to get it in bounds.
And those are the turnovers at the Indiana. Forced turnovers plenty.
Clark opens, guarded Caitlin Clark. A nice move from Stephanie White. Bonner. Head coaches before the game, Rebecca, were maybe experienced.
Anna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas have been in these moments many, many times.
Half strongly, not letting little things become big things. Samop does have a foul to give, as Bonner will shoot 3 free throws. We gave you the playoff numbers before in her career. She's made 3rd in career free throws.
She's acting like she's been here before.
Clark an open 3, misfires, and that
Any position that she might be behind, she's affecting her shots.
She talks about in the first half.
I thought it was okay. I think it can be better. We've got to be up a little bit.
kind of comes up with a steal. By the way, Lexi Hull picked up that 3rd foul difference when she went to the bench. Hull back in there, fires the W in offensive rating and 3-point percentage post-Olympics. Because so often against Connecticut's defense, you don't get good, clean looks. Tonight, for Connecticut, after Ty Harris left with an ankle in 4,
But to be looking at Caitlin Clark, waiting
Clark, who has not turned it over. Mabry, an illegal screen on Alyssa Smith as Indiana turns it over.
Who are constantly underestimated and overlooked. We're not the, remember, she's once played in a playoff game about 20 hours after.
Deal. Clark to the corner, Mitchell a 3. Here's Carrington storming in. And Bonner zigging, zagging. Mitchell isolating on Thomas. Clark needs one.
You and I were just talking in the commercial break. Caitlin Clark has played
Very turnovers against this Connecticut defense. Mabry off to Boston. Mitchell on the move, lost the handle, loose on the floor.
the previous 3 for me on her end.
Mitchell draws 2, reacquired just before the deadline as Thomas fouls Boston.
Comes down in transition. She's still feeling good from the one before.
6-0 response after Clark had hit her first 3 and cut it to 6 in her playoff debut. Thomas nearly threw it away. Clark bounces to Fag Benley, wasn't ready for it, but ends up getting a challenge for an incorrectly assigned foul. Mabry, her handle has been a little loose at times in this. Caitlin Clark. Here's Thomas, shovels, Carrington at the 3. Alyssa Top closing in on another. Mabry. Boston's Carrington might have intercepted that from Bonner. Can't finish. Clark working Mabry, separating, taking. Has hit her last 2 from deep. Jones, Bunny, no.
Live in this quarter. Caitlin Clark doing everything she can to get between those 2.
Mabry with 11. Clark has it knocked away by Carrington. It'll stay here with the Fever. Anna. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell's jumper called against Clark will send Carrington to the line.
Usually Carrington posting up here.
There's not a ton. It's enough to be a foul. And ban for a team that did not at least win 1 championship. Disruptive enough there. And that was something Christy Sides talked to her team. Boxing out defensively on the line after a missed free throw. Knocked away. Thomas controls. Carrington zooming in. Lays it. Here's Clark. A deep bomb off the... Gut check time for the Fever. Crowd here with the Fever and Sun in Connecticut. Thomas secures the glass. Burton 3 to shoot. And Burton gets fouled by Mitchell.
Nobody open and you're getting near that 5-second call. Just throw it off the defensive player.
Is so astute and so demanding. Gonna try and rush into a 2-for-1. Clark, Mitchell gives it up. Boston rummaging inside.
Ball to 15-footer, so her with the little pump fake gets Jones leaning.
14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 of 11 from the floor. To make it a 10-point game. Going to be Connecticut basketball as Mabry. Here's Thomas surging inside. And that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. Marina Mabry, a black eye that has started to form. under her right eye. Here's Clark on a three. Oh, win a game when those two are not shooting well from three together.
And certainly, offensively, Indiana was taking the shots Connecticut wanted them to take versus ones they wanted.
Veronica Burton handling the minutes. Ty Harris.
And they make you uncomfortable and make you do things you don't want to do. Yeah.
Burton sets up Thomas. Shot put off the mark. On my first team all defense. For Indiana, here's Duntis off one leg. No. Here in game one, best of three first round series. Hesitation, needs help, finds Hull. Hull's push shot gets. Start that first pretty off mic intentionally to build up. But she has been able to hit that little push jumper today. Bonner from three in this game. Here's Mitchell hopping to the hoop.
One day from the perimeter for the Indiana Fever, but Kelsey Mitchell's been able to
see the numbers for Mitchell, who has been able to connect from two, but again to the corner, Mabry. Again. Mitchell bounces, Boston sheds,
spread the floor and score enough from the perimeter. Do they have three-point shooting?
Clark, the three, short. Thomas, the rebound. Thomas off to Mabry. Wanted her to take another. Mabry. 27. Lead has swelled to 21 for Connecticut. Mitchell, no. In the second half, 20 points. Mabry back on the fourth of her playoff career. As Tom Duntis dumps it down. Boston can't handle it. And a foul called on Boston. Never sitting.
Right. Just in this game, she cutting that.
Clark into the paint, bounces to Boston.
Pushing in transition, and good job by Aaliyah Boston to kick.
The goats of this league to make a catch against the other. Carrington misses that late. Hull in the corner, in and out. Connecticut. Hull, who has shot the three at 63%, 20 of them in the second half.
Yeah, an absolute difference maker offensively.
Thomas off to Burton, her three.
Long would beat their opponent by just scoring a lot of points. It wasn't because they were good open looks from the perimeter, just couldn't make them.
Let's set things over to Hop.
Great national champion at Notre Dame, won a title there, but barely.
And screaming as she does. The runner-up to the MVP a season ago in the tightest race ever. Just to Holly's point about Marina Mabry, necessarily the consistent run and the consistent home. 14 turnovers from Indiana. 5 Eastern here on ESPN, and then a 10 Eastern. 4 for 17 from the floor. 2 for 13 from 3. Carrington, why not? All right, how about adjustments for Indiana looking ahead to game?
Better pace on the offensive end of the floor, and some of that is going to come down to just getting to the good looks you've gotten from the perimeter. Again, you'd be more
effective getting out in transition themselves. 5 assists, Alyssa Thomas, a triple-double, 27, on 50% shooting. And just a complete performance. Impressive second half and an authoritative game. The final. And Connecticut takes a 1.
Earlier today, we've had some moments together.
Tippett, as is customary, Sparks fans on their feet until LA scores their first player by Boston. Here's Clark looking for space, 4 to shoot. Bounce past Boston, elbow extended. Who has been so big for the Sparks here to start this early season. Speaking of big, no one probably playing better.
Testament to just how well she's performing.
Kurt Miller says tonight's packed house and the ascension of women's basketball. Here's Smith, she can hit that shot. Fever in front by 1. Here's Brink, nice spin in the lane. Do for you, I don't have that luxury. Nice give and go, Clark right at the cup, and she gets in this first quarter. Just getting going from Crypto.com Arena. Here's Lexi Brown now. Brown around the Brink screen. Brown trying to navigate. Brown. Clark deep position has the seal against Smith. Nearly a steal there. Coming off a loss in Seattle a couple nights ago, Smith biters. It's a 2-point loss for Indiana. Sparks won by 2. Now taken weak side there by Wallace.
Rick has already taken 3.
Pitch ahead, Nurse. Pulls up from the elbow, to say the least. Sparks in front by 3. Coming off to go behind the back. Numbers here for LA. Clarendon, touch pass, Hamby. Oh, everybody gets it.
Nose forward, found that gap and attacked the bucket in transition.
Something to watch. Turnovers have been a big thing for the Sparks here.
Lexi Brown as a facilitator in this early season. 5 of 6 shooting from the floor and 2 of 2 from distance.
Clarendon against Clark. Clark tries to get a step.
Indiana's done an outstanding job in transition D.
6 Bulls. We have a stoppage here, a foul away, and that'll be their first. 3rd team foul, 4+ without Brink on the floor, the number 2 pick in this year's draft. Lou continuing here through tonight. Jackson trying to go off the bounce, gets the step against Smith.
Boston, no Brink on the floor. It feels like a situation where Brink is...
That was her first field goal. She's got 4 points here. Remember, she picked up 2 early fouls. Got to reset here offensively. Clarendon, the kick out Jackson, left alone for 3. She's going to take it off the mark. Boston in there for the off. Cross-court pass to Jackson. Out to Nurse. Her 3.
Be like Caitlin Clark, the passer.
That's pretty good, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
Great job of denying Lexi Brown the basketball. Hamby in traffic, and
The Indiana Fever in this young season is playing from behind. They got her in space, and she attacked the bucket.
Boston's now Hamby. 7 to shoot for LA. Clarendon, the runner. Jackson. And so for Jackson now, that's going to be her 3rd personal.
From the floor, and the ball is delivered.
At USC. Did her undergrad at Harvard. For the Lynx from 2017 to 19, won a championship in Minnesota.
Across the board, what a lift she gives this team. Just a different dimension.
The coaching staff yesterday as Indiana traveled on the Trojans campus. Rue, who just checked in. So it's Brown, Hamby, Clarendon, back to Hamby. Clarendon gets it right back in.
Trying to force her out. 6'8" inside.
So Lee Rue.
First point of the season. So you wave Monique Billings inside.
Say that again.
Playing Chicago.
Turns and faces against Hamby. Nice defense by De'Erica. 3 to shoot. Follow. Hamby on the post up. Double team comes. Hamby works around it. LA by 9. Clark trying to find some space. Clarendon trying to chase it down. Lay able to get it in the front court. Here's Giroux running the floor.
I don't know.
The risky business
Risky,
there, huh?
There you go.
Just love just her attitude towards the game. Reagan Peavy undoubtedly the rest of this half. As Giroux has a step. Giroux there to block, but no, a whistle and a foul. The crowd reacting to the and so it wasn't there. And so Clark will be at the line to see her numbers here in the first half against Clark. Rare in this young season for LA. Who's Brink's plus-minus number, 6 seconds left. Hamby gets the pass. She'll try the 3. That will. Sparks 45. Not necessarily pleased with the tempo her team is playing with. They
12 of 15 from the free throw line. That has not been a.
Brink there to help. Nice pass back. Bentley.
They have a connection going on.
Here's Nurse. Mitchell against Talbot. Trying to go off the bounce. The step back. She had just 3 in the first half. And as you mentioned, she got the start in the second half here. It's not in, but she's back in there right now. Here's Mitchell against LA. It is. Brink.
Beck Bentley, 13 points in the second half. How about Mitchell's second?
First win will be okay. They're on the cusp of it right now. Fagbenle, LA, who led by 11 at halftime. Arena. Nurse. Hamby finds Brink and she's on the door of a double-double. battle taking on these Indiana Fever at 7 Eastern. For more on these games.
Big games on this Memorial Day weekend.
Clark has it with 7 to shoot. And a
Stops, and you need multiple stops. But that play just reminds me of Caitlin Clark earlier.
no advantage here for LA. Here's Jackson, they leave her alone. It's a one-possession game as this defense by the Sparks fans. 6 on the shot clock. Clark, a dig over here. We're gonna have a foul in the back. Transition take foul. That's what the review was about. (73-66). Here's the back door to Wallace. Finds back Benlay in this one. And offensive against it. Boston gets it right back and a travel. On the cusp of its first win of this season.
It's so dynamic, just 3 points.
Brink will try. The crowd starts to rise again. Taking the feed from Boston. They go down to Boston. Ball's inbounded to Brown. Stops. Free throw line. Jay gets the burn. Clark has space. She's going to let it fly.
What's social media going to do now?
Nurse can't. First time with 27 seconds left. Tries to work quickly. The kick out Nurse. Quick three. Backkeeper will be in Los Angeles this season. Biggest arena she's ever been in. But also mentioned doesn't take what could have been.
Mitchell and just her game. She could score every time she touches it, but just her evolution.
Going to take a reset timeout here. So on the reset timeout, not allowed to huddle. Crowd still on its feet here. Nobody is left. Here LA, Hamby in the lane. The fall away gets the back. Gonna dribble this one out. Caitlin Clark in front of a national.